Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to another episode of the GroupUp Podcast. I'm your host, OzDragon, and on today's episode, we are joined by Integrityy. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the podcast as we talk about a wide range of topics, such as schooling during the isolation, and what kind of video game Integrityy would make. Thank you for listening to this week's podcast. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 3 of the GroupUp Podcast. I'm the host, OzDragon, joined by Integrityy. How you doing today, Integrityy?
I'm doing good, man. How about you?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. How's your weekend been? You been doing much?
It's been kind of quiet, just games, really. Pretty much, yeah.
Yep, no, that's fair enough, man. So we'll jump straight into it.
So I started streaming roughly 11 months ago, and I'd watched a few YouTube videos like how to grow, and a lot of them said just network small communities. So I went just on Rainbow Six Siege, went right to the bottom, and just searched for AU or Oz. So I found Crisis AU. I'm sure you know.
Yes, yep.
Yeah. So he was playing Siege, and when I joined, he was playing PUBG. So his category was wrong.
Typical Crisis.
Yeah, I know. And then I told him, and he changed it, And then I just scrolled through his panels, and it said the Den, which is another streaming community. So I joined the Den, and through the Den, I found another invite to GroupUp, and that's how I found it. And for about 3 months, Crisis was the only streamer I watched.
Yeah.
I was a bit heavy obsessed, but then I was kind of really inactive in that, or both of those communities really. I wasn't really doing much, kind of just joined them and left it.
Yep.
But eventually I started chatting, checking out other streamers in the communities, and it's just kept on happening to this day.
Yeah.
Hooray.
No, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't really, think anybody has had that kind of, I don't know, like motivation kind of thing where they're like searching for a community or whatever. And it was good that, I don't know, you were able to find another community through a community that you were like already in, so you were you joined the Den, and then you were able to find other communities through that, which was really cool. And yeah, now you're probably in, I think you were in another one. You were talking about the Asylum or something in some streams and in that video, which we'll bring up a bit later on. So how did you actually come across the Asylum, and what's all that about?
Well, I came across the Asylum through GroupUp.
Oh, well, there you go then. So
one of the members in Sainted Health.
Yep.
He has
the designer.
Yeah, he has a community, obviously. The Asylum, I watched a few of his streams. He was also one of the first GroupUp streamers I started to watch. Obviously, he had just started streaming, like less than a month.
Yep.
And he had a Discord. At that point, every single streamer I watched, I would always check if they had a Discord, because you want to chat off stream, make friends, whatever. So I joined that, and it turned out to be a pretty big thing, just sort of like GroupUp. But the Asylum, a lot of the people in there have problems with mental health as well. So they're kind of like chatting about it. There's a lot of talk in that sense, and there's a lot of social media promotion about stopping depression, anxiety, and trying to help people through some tough times, I suppose. And most of those guys are streamers as well, so it's pretty cool.
No, that's God, that's definitely very interesting, and it's good that communities and stuff are getting around that, because it obviously is like a pretty big issue and all that kind of thing. So I mean, we kind of have a little bit in our Discord, but we don't really go into depths with it as much. It's kind of there for people just to, if they need somebody to talk to, they can, come and talk to us in the group up community and stuff. So I don't know, maybe we need to that's something that maybe the group up community needs to look into a little bit more, as focusing on mental health and stuff. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Out of all those communities and stuff that you've found over your journey through streaming, are there any people in that that come to mind when you think about like who's been there and supported you and helped you along the way? Has there been people that have told you like or given you advice on like what to do and what not to do and all this kind of stuff, or people that have come to your stream and been there from from day dot and have been there supporting you?
Well, you come to mind actually, but I get people like Insane as well, Insane to Telf. When I just joined GroupUp, Aussie Blackbeard, he came into the first stream, like when I was part of the GroupUp community.
Yeah.
He came in, he said hi, just had a bit of a conversation, and I started hanging out in his streams as well. So he's like, I wouldn't say my inspiration to start streaming, but he definitely motivated me a lot because I liked watching his streams. It has good production quality. Just simple overlays, get to the point, kind of.
Yeah.
Stream.
Yeah, it's definitely Aussie Blackbeard. Yeah.
But I've sort of drifted away from that kind of group now. Like, not because they're bad or have done anything. I just kind of moved on, I suppose. So I go there every once in a while now, but I'm not super active like I used to be.
Yeah.
And then obviously Insane, I used to watch him make graphics because that guy is so talented. Like
yeah. I've seen a bit of his work, and he's definitely a lot more talented than what I am.
Yeah, and then you as well. Like, you were chatting right from the start. We had lots of conversations, in general chat. You came in a few times, lots of support, I suppose, where's pushing me to, increase my, I suppose, production value, or, help me keep streaming.
No, that's good. So streaming is obviously something that you really want to get into and continue doing throughout school, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's sort of like a hobby. I really like the interaction part of it. Like, sometimes when I'm streaming, not less necessarily enjoying the games. Well, not enjoying the games, but I am playing the games more than I would if I wasn't streaming, just because I get that interaction from people. I love talking to people, and I think it's so cool that you can do that over the internet while people are watching you play video games.
Yeah, exactly.
People. Yeah,
and recently you only just hit 200 followers as well, which is a pretty big milestone in streaming, and it's definitely getting your foot in the door with streaming.
Well, one of my mates from school, his name's Mitchell. I'm sure he wouldn't mind me saying that. And he actually started to stream on Xbox. Now, that's what I actually started streaming, like right at the start. So, a console pleb. But I used to have really, really bad internet. So, like, I would stream at like 160p and it would still lag. And I would get like 200 ping. It was like awful.
Yeah.
But he would always stream and I would always watch his streams. I like to watch him play Siege, and he played GTA as well. And we were always like really good mates, like pretty much best friends. But we had like other friendship groups. We were like separated at school, I suppose. And that sort of, we started to hang out more, I suppose, and he started giving me small tips. He stopped streaming now, but he was my initial, I suppose, trigger for me to start streaming.
Yeah. Okay.
Like,
No, that's pretty cool.
Pretty cool thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was good that, through gaming and streaming, somebody that you've got at school that you probably didn't talk to as much, like you said, all of a sudden became like good friends with them because, you have same interests in gaming and streaming, and through that, like, he was giving you advice and all that kind of stuff, which was pretty cool.
Well, I like music, and I've always wanted to make it. Obviously, I've never really been good at it, and I'm still not great. You know that thing I released the other, I think it was 4 or 5 days ago.
Yeah.
That was a pretty decent attempt at what I would call a low end song, but it was good fun doing music stuff, and I've always wanted to do that. I used to do really short like beats. I used to make like instrumental productions as well, because I could never do any vocals because I used to be a little squeaker boy.
Yeah.
And I kind of still am.
Okay.
And then soccer. I've played soccer for 8 years. I've played club for 5, and we've been promoted 3 of those 5 years, I think. So
all right. Damn, good job.
We like, yeah, that's my main hobby. It's soccer.
Yep.
I support Adelaide United as well, and I pretty much, that's my spare. If I'm not gaming, if I'm not streaming, if I'm not watching TV or doing something with the family, I'm always either watching soccer, playing soccer, or training for club or school.
Yeah.
That's my main physical activity.
Yep. No, that's awesome. I used to do soccer back in the day as well. It's definitely one of my interests as well. I don't do it as much as what I'd like anymore, but yeah, I can definitely get behind that message that soccer is definitely a bit of fun. And you were talking about like your music and stuff. Do you want to, obviously you're still young, but do you want to continue doing that music, continue making beats, continue singing and all that kind of stuff, or rapping as you were doing in your latest video?
Well, it's something I want to continue doing, but I don't think I'll really ever take it that seriously, because it's something I'm pretty passionate about, but it's not something I want to turn into something profitable or make it big. It's just like for fun and the memes pretty much.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. That's pretty cool.
Well, actually in South Australia, when Corona first hit, there weren't really restrictions at all. Like in some of the eastern states, restrictions were put up like almost instantly, and in South Australia it kind of just like hovered for a few weeks before we started to put stuff in place. But during that time, everyone knew it was coming, so everyone was like trying to rush, get some mates around, go see the movies before they were closed, because obviously it was talked about constantly on the news. Just like restrictions about to be put in place, all that stuff. So I had a few mates over almost every weekend. So for about 2 weeks, we went and saw lots of movies.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the social side of it. And when I was playing games, a lot of my mates are on console. So I have, I think, one IRL friend who's on PC, and I have probably 20 plus who play on either Xbox or PlayStation. So when crossplay games like like the new Modern Warfare came out, I actually played a bit of Fortnite out of disgust, and I played a lot of those with mates as well.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So cross-platform was that's the if that's a genre. Is that a genre? It's probably not a genre, but a lot of those cross-platform games are what I played during first
Okay.
few weeks of lockdown.
Yeah. No, that's pretty cool. Keeping in contact with your mates is always good, especially when you're stuck at home. Yeah, it's pretty boring and all that kind of stuff. Did you play like any games by yourself? Are you kind of like interested in like story-based single-player games, or was it just all like, I want to get online and play with my mates, kind of, Rainbow Six and like you said, like the cross-platform games?
Well, there are a lot of games that are single player story that have story modes that I do like to play, but I kind of just don't. I don't know why. It's just I find them fun. It's not that they're not fun. I just play multiplayer games over them for no apparent reason. I just do.
Yeah. No, I can understand that. Like, I don't know. Like because I have bad internet, I normally play single player games when my internet's bad. And then when my internet's decent, I normally play like online games over like single player games and stuff. It's just, I don't know, it's more like the interaction kind of side of it, and talking to people and making friends, I suppose, is more interesting in a way. At least that's my opinion anyway. But yeah. Was your school prepared for that kind of thing? So obviously we have like the technology now where we can have like Zoom calls and Discord calls like we're in at the moment. How you could probably have like a class full of students or whatever, and the teacher is, I don't know, still teaching you? Or was it more just like you go home and then we'll give you all of the stuff through like a document or whatever, and then your parents teach you, kind of thing?
Well, our school it's pretty prepared because it's a pretty well-funded school. I go to a private school,
Yep.
so it's got lots of support for lots of different programs. So we used Microsoft Teams, which
Okay.
I don't know if you know what that is, but it's the most
Nope.
dead messaging program you've ever seen. Like, no one had heard of it until we were forced to use it for school. We still used it we still used it before and now when we were physically at school. It's how we transferred documents. Because,
Okay.
email was too old and we went to evolve.
Right.
But the problem with Teams is that it doesn't have any moderation, like as in like ranks, so teachers don't have any more power than students.
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
So when we're in like calls, students could mute the teachers. So it was an absolute free-for-all, and you could kick people as well from calls and they'd have to rejoin, but you couldn't stop them from rejoining.
Oh no.
So people would just go around just like right-clicking random people, just like kick. And it was just so hectic. And one of our teachers at school, he's kind of a tech savvy. He he did a bit of research, and he figured out that if you actually set up moderation like separately, that you can put it in Teams. So that eventually started working, but then obviously a lot of other schools were using the internet and probably some using Teams as well, so it started to lag a lot. So
Oh, okay.
calls would crash and all that bad stuff, frame drops, and
Yeah.
so we kind of just gave up entirely, and we just started to get worksheets. But because we didn't have teachers to like walk us through it, or like only with messaging, so it was much slower. The expectations for work absolutely plummeted.
Yeah.
Which means for a 7-lesson day, we might have 15 minutes worth of work a lesson, and if you understood all the work you were given, it was like no more than 2 hours, you would be done with school day.
Far
It was
out.
like completely underworked,
Yeah.
and people would just because you what actually meant to like do lessons at the scheduled time, but teachers uploaded all the files, beforehand. So people would just, grab one task sheet, grab another, print them out or do them on the computer and just like grind through them, for
Yeah.
the
Okay.
first hour or 2 hours every day. And then they'd just be done at like 10 o'clock and have the rest of the day off. It was, and me as well.
Far out.
Like it was pretty stupid. And none of the teachers really knew that how underworked we were because everyone
Yeah.
thought it was going to be hard, but we still have our brains, like.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it was pretty full on, I guess. It's just
Yeah.
pretty dumb
No,
thing
that
to do.
like I know, like the reason why I wanted to just like bring that up was just because it's something that like a lot of us haven't gone through. Uh, you know, and like I went through school, and didn't have any sick days or whatever, didn't have the homeschooling or anything like that, and all of a sudden, like you guys were just like thrown in the deep end pretty much, and I just wanted to get like the difference between going to school, then all of a sudden, being at home, and then pretty much being homeschooled, but like in your case, it was still you were jumping in video chats and voice chats and all that kind of stuff to learn. So yeah, it's I know it's I couldn't even like imagine that like through when I was going through school, just like all of a sudden being back home. And I know a lot of because I also went to a private school, so my position would probably be similar to yours, but it would be I know a lot of people in my years and stuff, especially back in the earlier years, had terrible internet. So it would have just been a huge disaster to do anything on that kind of scale. So to have that kind of technology there for you guys to be able to still learn and be in voice chats and all that kind of stuff and get that information and that is pretty cool. And yeah, it's something completely different to what I would have expect. I suppose.
I kind of want to say a tactical shooter,
Okay.
just like sort of like R6, but like a slower paced game, I suppose. Kind of like probably EFT, but a little less extreme realism. I
Yeah.
don't know,
Okay.
kind of a baby between the two. I don't really have any specifics I could give you, but something like that I reckon would be a pretty cool game to play.
Mhm.
Because obviously R6 really fast paced. It's kind of like gun and run,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you got the team side of things, and with EFT you can like have games that go for bloody ages, like.
Yeah. Yep. Mhm.
And it's really punishing as well. So if you could get like something that kind of tactical but slow,
Mhm.
but not ridiculously slow, and a setting where it's like attackers, defenders,
Yeah.
I reckon that would be something pretty cool to play.
Yeah. Oh, that seems pretty interesting. So obviously, like those two games are your go-to games for streaming as well. Those are the ones that I've noticed you stream the most of is Rainbow Six and Escape from Tarkov. How did you come across those games to start off with, and have you always been into like first-person shooters, or have you come from other games?
Well, hang on. The year 2016, I got my Xbox One.
Mhm.
So with my Xbox One, I got a few games, but they were like either M or MA, so I wasn't allowed to redeem those codes or play
Yeah.
them yet.
Yeah.
But I think it was probably just the next year and a bit. I was kind of sort of allowed to play more violent video games. I wouldn't say, games where you would stab people in the back of the head and
Yeah.
watch their brains get ripped out. But, I
Yep.
was allowed to start getting into that shooter kind of genre,
Mm-hmm.
and I started to play a lot of Payday.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, so that was my main game for probably about 6 months. And then in my drawer, randomly, just completely out of nowhere, I found my old codes to the games. I'd completely forgotten about them. And one of them was For Honor, which is,
Yeah.
like a medieval type game. And
Mhm.
then one of them was Rainbow Six.
Yep.
So I redeemed For Honor first because that was, the one that I was more drawn to, I suppose.
Mhm.
So I played that for a bit. I only played that for like a month. It was a pretty short game if you grinded enough. And then Rainbow, and
Yep.
my obsession began. Like when I first got it, when I first launched, I saw the operators.
Mhm.
Because when I went into situations, because they're the only thing I could play. When you got renown, I thought when you bought operators, those operators were like AI that came with you into situations. And I
Yep.
was so sad when I bought my first operator, Fuse, that he wasn't there when I spawned in. It's just like, what the hell? Where's he at? Like, and then, I started playing Quick Match, or actually it was called Casual then, which I thought was just the same as situations, just like a different
Yeah.
game mode.
Yeah.
And then I started to realize, like, oh, these are all different characters you can play. And it reminded me a lot of Overwatch, actually, because I did play that at my mate's house quite a few times. I was a little bit into it. I wouldn't know anything about it, or I don't know anything about it now, but I kind of played it a few times. Pretty fun. So it kind of reminded me of that. It's like, oh yeah, I have like a realistic version of Overwatch. Let's go.
Yeah.
And I got a few of my mates onto that, onto Siege with me, and we started to play, a 5-stack. And on my first season of console, I got like low gold, so I was pretty happy with it. Because right
Yeah.
now on PC, I'm dog shit and bronze. So,
Probably do better than me. I'm staying away from that rank side for a little bit until I like learn the maps a little bit better and all that kind of stuff. But yeah.
yeah. So we all started in, I think it was Blood Orchid.
Yep.
So
Mhm.
quite a long time ago.
Yeah.
And then next season was Operation Chimera, of course. And then there was that Outbreak game mode, like that zombie
Mhm.
meets Rainbow Six Siege. And that's going to be made into a whole new game now. Ubisoft has called it Rainbow Six Quarantine. So it's like
Oh.
a PvE, but like with mates. And
Oh.
it's because the R6 community absolutely loved that, temporary game mode so much. They made an entire game around it. So that's going to be released later this year, I think, actually.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't even know anything about that. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty keen.
It's kind of died down in the last few months, but it was like mid last year. It was announced, and it was like everyone, like so much hype around it.
Yeah.
It's obviously been delayed because it's Ubisoft. And we're expecting it later this year. I honestly doubt it will happen, especially because Corona as well.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, because you can work on a computer, I suppose, but then little less communication and stuff like that.
Yep.
And Escape from Tarkov I found through another GroupUp member called Shriek, who, of course,
Everyone loves Shriek.
Yeah, so I actually first started watching him. I actually lurked him a lot. Like, I didn't really talk. But he was playing Rainbow, and I was absolutely amused by the amount of times he said the C word in a minute. So it was pretty entertaining. It was just like this guy with super long hair jumping around on his chair, screaming that a bloody Ash rushing into sight. And then he started to play Tarkov, and it looked really, really fun. At first I actually thought it was a story mode game. I started to watch a little bit more though, and
Yep.
just like, yeah, I think I want to try this out. So I bought it and kind of just played it casually. I'm
Mhm.
not really good at it or anything. Don't take it that seriously. It's just kind of a pastime. So it's
Yeah.
not as sweaty for me like I play Siege.
Mhm. No, that's pretty awesome. Um, so would you recommend these games to like anybody else? Because I played a little bit of Rainbow Six myself, and I play it casually, but for Escape from Tarkov, I've obviously seen you play it. I've seen Red Ops and Shriek and all that kind of stuff, and other GroupUp members and other streamers that I watch. But I feel like it's probably not like a game that I could personally get into as much. But I don't know. Like, could you somehow persuade me into getting it?
Um, I don't really think if it's kind of if you don't like slow pace and like realism, like super tactical games, like
Hmm.
there's not really a way you could find an interest in a game like Tarkov, but obviously Siege, right now probably shouldn't buy it. It's in the
Hmm.
shittest state it's probably been since Operation Health. There are
Yeah.
so many bugs and hackers right now. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of like it's almost like I want players to boycott the game just for like a few months so Ubi sorts out their shit because they have so many resources and so much money available to fix these issues. They can hire extra development teams just to fix this issue, and they would still be making huge profit margins. I'm not actually sure of their statistics, but obviously they're a massive company, and Rainbow
Hmm.
is a very profitable game.
Yeah.
So they can definitely afford, to fix all these bugs right now, and there's just so many. And
Hmm.
the game's almost it's just over 5 years old, so it's
Yeah.
pretty bad. But when the game's working, it's bloody fun. Like
Yeah. Hmm.
it's it's kind of like oh, I don't know, it's sort of Call of Duty mechanics, but in a more um tactical way, I suppose. It's like secure area in
Yeah.
Call of Duty with less people and one life.
Yeah.
So it's a lot slower than Call of Duty, but it's still a quite fast-paced game.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah. And obviously, like, you just gotta think about different things, like uh, what area you want to breach in, all that kind of stuff, and you obviously got to check like literally every corner to make sure that somebody's not like lying down behind the couch or something in certain map or whatever. So yeah, I've also heard that Rainbow Six isn't as good as what it used to be. From a lot of other streamers who used to stream it or play it. So yeah, I can definitely understand that. And to be honest, I don't think I've actually been on for a couple of weeks, so might have to check it out and see what kind of issues I come across. But yeah, no, those are two very interesting games, and obviously you'll love your tactical military kind of games, I suppose, like first person, which is pretty cool.
Well, I think this generation, I would say from probably 0 years old to 25 is
Mhm.
pretty much gaming obsessed. Like they live and breathe video games in one or another way. They might be addicted, they might be a casual gamer, they might just, play games occasionally, but like in some way that they're involved in gaming or esports.
Yeah.
And right now there's a lot of people who aren't in that age group, which is why I don't think there's a lot of game on TV.
Yeah.
Because obviously this generation also, they watch things like Twitch, YouTube, Netflix, and television is kind of being left to, older people. Really.
Yeah.
Not old people, but older people.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all that news, all the current affairs, all the You
Mhm.
know, sometimes, you know, the cartoons, the mysteries, and all those are good as well. But, you know, you have access to those things on Netflix, easier, on demand.
Mhm. Yep.
And obviously, not a lot of older people are into video games. Like you are, of course. But, you know,
Mhm.
if you were to pick, like, I don't know, 50 people around your age randomly off the street, or a few years older than you, then I doubt all of them, or at least not the majority of them, would be into a lot of gaming.
Yeah. 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 It's like not their like main focus, I suppose. Yeah.
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 And I think I want to say for the future of game is going to VR. Okay. I
Mhm.
just I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Um it's something really, really cool, and something that a lot of people are really fond of, I suppose, but it's
Mhm.
not something you could spend hours a day in. Like, I have a VR headset, a mixed reality thing. I
Mhm.
haven't used it in like 3 or 4 months, and it's just not amazing. It's just all right because the technology is pretty good. You know, good refresh rate. It's, as long as you got a good enough PC, it's powerful enough to, you know, render, you know, smooth enough frames.
Yep.
It's just all right, really.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't think it's heading towards VR, but I think VR technology will like continue to get way better, higher resolutions, you know, less blurriness and all that kind of stuff. I think
Yep.
VR education is gonna get bigger
Yep.
because at my school recently we've been doing, you know, maybe a lesson with a virtual reality headset once every semester. So not a lot,
Cool.
but when we do, you know, it's like our main focus for 2 or 3 weeks. It's just like writing about things we saw, how things reacted. You know, a lot of things in science. We do that kind of thing, but
Oh wow. Yeah. Okay. No, that's
I
pretty.
don't
That's pretty awesome.
I don't think VR will take over gaming. I think it will just continue to grow in popularity,
Mhm.
but that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Far out. So you were talking about like VR being more of like an educational kind of thing. I think that's what in our first episode with Darksider and Demoski, they were also talking about how the technology there could be used for more uh, like learning and stuff. So they were talking about it being used for like firefighters uh, being put in certain situations, like maybe they're trapped in a building or whatever and have to escape, or find the person that they're looking for and all that kind of stuff, or yeah, just like different workplaces using it to learn skills and being put in certain situations in VR before they're actually being put in those situations in real life. So they have a little bit of experience in it. They know what to do in that kind of situation and all that kind of stuff. But obviously, like in every situation, it's going to be a little bit different. But say like somebody, we'll just use the fire example situation. Say somebody's just coming out of like traineeship and all that kind of stuff, and then all of a sudden has to you know be in front of like a burning building and all that kind of stuff. That would it would probably be a bit more beneficial if that person was uh like had the virtual reality uh before going into it in real life, I suppose. But yeah, no, it's something that I don't know. May we'll have to wait and see, I guess, in the coming future, and we'll see what comes of it, I suppose. But yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about the group up video that you had uploaded for your 100 subscriber special on YouTube. The group up video. So obviously you were talking about music a little bit before, and uh, that you kind of doing it for the memes and all that kind of stuff. But personally, I actually really liked the video, and the lyrics and all that kind of stuff was it just flowed, and it was very good. was a very good and well put together video, in my opinion, for the low budget of $0 that you guys had.
See, change it, yeah, king and queen, but not at the top. In every world, there is always a mighty God. Now, coming down from heaven is the mighty God, straight on bow down to your God and start your drink on plan. And creator of GroupUp, that's everything that matters and is always there when you want to chit chat a roast dragon. Has entered the game, chat man, cause some sass, so a chat for the synth, happy loves fucking eggs on his head, but they quote that. Time to pop the cap. Stay back, hype. 100 subs in my pocket, GroupUp Hype. Numbers shooting up like rockets, see the sky high. Going on the what's the watch list tonight. My in real life friend, Sam, featuring Lil Crease, the
Yep.
probably the worst name. Like honestly, like he probably knows it too. It's not a great name, but he's always been obsessed with like making music. Like his main focus, like his absolute passion, is on music production and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
But he doesn't have resources, I suppose. So we started just randomly talking, and it's like, oh, I'm on 89 subs. I want to do a 100 sub special. Just randomly popped in my head, like, holy crap, we could like make a song.
Yeah.
Like that would be the fattest meme ever. So we just like got on Discord. I think maybe 20 minutes for 3 or 4 nights every night. Just writing lyrics, editing them. Finding the right beat. Because we put those lyrics over 4 or 5 different beats that obviously we didn't own because we probably didn't have the time or the skill to create a decent enough beat. To put those to put behind our vocals, which weren't that great either. But so it took a long time to try and find the structure, I suppose. And when it turned out, like when we exported it, when we watched it without any preview lag, it was like an absolute masterpiece of shit. Like it was so good, and it was like a banger, but like it was made awfully. But that was the meme. Like that was the part that was good about it. Because it was taken seriously, but it was just so bad that it was a meme. So we kind of made it a fat meme then. And then I got a bunch of shit at school because everyone saw it. So.
Yeah, I've noticed that it's just like skyrocketed over like the couple of days that it's been out. It's got like 200 views or something now. It's absolutely crazy. And I don't know, like the like to dislike ratio is very nice as well. I like it. It's just, I don't know. It's a catchy music video to listen to. I know that I've listened to it a couple of times now. And I've sent it around to a couple of people who have also enjoyed it. I know that Darksider also commented on there. He enjoyed it. So a lot of the GroupUp community and stuff are getting behind it, and it's good to see you reach 100 subscribers on YouTube. That's really good. And obviously your 200 followers on Twitch. It's good to see you slowly growing over the time. And hopefully, we can just continue supporting you. And I can't wait to see what comes in the future, because you're producing all this good content on Twitch and stuff. You're putting out this meme content on YouTube. And yeah, it's getting the views, it's getting the people in, and they're enjoying it, they're loving it. And it's just good to see that you're getting your own community there on both of those platforms, which is really good. Also, today you streamed for a birthday stream, which your birthday is actually tomorrow, on the 8th of June. So I just wanted to say a early happy birthday to you. And yeah, do you have anything planned for your birthday? I know that you did the stream tonight because you're busy tomorrow doing some things.
Well, we're looking to have, a party with, just a few mates,
Mhm.
probably in mid-July or early July, because,
Mhm.
just waiting for all the restrictions to be eased in South Australia,
Yeah.
because we've got 0 active cases, I think, at the moment, or 1, but
Mhm.
it's quarantined.
Yep.
So, our government is like, our state government is like really, really keen to get things back up and running, like completely normal.
Yep.
Obviously with social distancing and stuff still in place, but like, we're just waiting for stuff like that to happen so we have, more options available, I suppose.
Yeah.
But other than that, there's nothing really else. Just, a party, few mates, and
Mhm.
that's pretty much it.
Yeah. No. Just the usual birthday
Yeah,
stitch
pretty
up,
much,
pretty much.
pretty much.
But yeah, I suppose you were pretty lucky that you got the tail end of the quarantine and isolation and all that kind of stuff. So I kind of feel a little bit sorry for those people that had their birthday, during isolation and couldn't have people come around and be there for their birthday. But yeah, I suppose it is what it is, and it's hard times for everybody. So. To finish off, we have a question from Zydrate that was on our Instagram, and she asked if you could be any dinosaur, which would it be and why?
Um, I would be a pterodactyl because they squeak a lot, just like me, and it's the only dinosaur that I
That you
I
know.
yeah. Actually, no, I know a T-Rex, but that's like fierce and brave. That's not me.
Plus, they can fly, so you can fly anywhere in the world. Yeah. For me, I wouldn't even know. I'll just go with a velociraptor just because they run fast and bite people. And I don't like people, so I can just chomp off somebody's head that I don't like. Simple as that.
Never seen this side of you before.
So yeah, that's it for our podcast today. I just wanted to say thank you for coming and taking the time to do this. We wanted to get through our Discord monthly members. So obviously last week was Savia Bobo, who was a previous monthly member, and you are this month's current monthly member, which is good. And it also is good because it's it's your birthday this week, so it's kind of a little bit fitting. But yeah, I really do appreciate you for coming and doing this. It's good to see you getting involved with a lot more communities and being around the GroupUp community. It's good to see you being in other people's streams. I know that I've seen you in a lot of other GroupUp community members' streams, which is great to see, and you're a huge support to everybody in the community. And I know that a lot of them are thankful for you being in there and going into their streams and supporting them. A lot of them have DM me privately. I'm not gonna say who they are, but I am gonna say that there have been people out there that have appreciated your support and came to me and said that this guy is probably gonna go somewhere because he's just out there to support everybody and doesn't expect it from anybody else. But it's good to see that people are getting behind you. And yeah, we just cannot wait to see what comes in the coming years, what kind of content you create, how much further you're going to take this. And yeah, it's really good. And yeah, just thank you. So yeah, that's it for episode 3 of the GroupUp Podcast. And Integrity, do you have any final last words for the listeners? Just a thumbs up.
I don't really have anything to say. No.
We've just left him as speechless. But yeah, thank you once again for joining us on today's episode, and yeah, we really do appreciate the support that you've been coming through. So that's it. Thank you very much for those who are listening. Be safe out there, be kind to one another, and we'll see you again next week on episode 4 of the GroupUp Podcast. Have a good one.